Justice has finally caught up with Megan Walsh. But even as one chapter closes, another question refuses to disappear. Is this really the last time Weatherfield has seen her, or could one final surprise still be waiting? After months of manipulation, lies, and emotional devastation, Megan's story reaches its dramatic conclusion inside the courtroom. The verdict leaves little room for doubt. Found guilty of grooming teenager Will Driscoll, she is finally held accountable for the abuse that changed so many lives. For Will, the judgment represents far more than a legal victory. It is proof that, despite every attempt to silence him, the truth has finally been heard. The road to that moment was anything but straightforward. For weeks, Megan fought every accusation with confidence, refusing to admit any wrongdoing. She manipulated those around her, challenged the evidence against her, and desperately tried to rewrite the past. Even when the pressure mounted, she insisted that everyone else was lying. Yet the courage shown by Will ultimately changed everything. Finding the strength to tell the truth after months of fear was never going to be easy. Every appearance in court forced him to relive painful memories, while his family watched helplessly, hoping justice would finally prevail. When the guilty verdict was delivered, relief spread through those whose lives Megan had turned upside down. The sentence marked the end of one of Weatherfield's most disturbing storylines and brought a sense of closure to people who had spent months living with uncertainty. But while Megan's fate was sealed on screen, the actress behind the character was experiencing a very different set of emotions. Beth Nixon recently reflected on filming her final scenes, admitting that when she first accepted the role, she had no idea how significant the storyline would become. The full direction of Megan's journey remained unknown in the early stages, but one thing was always clear. Justice had to win. According to Beth, there was never any intention for Megan to escape responsibility through an easy ending. Instead, it was important that viewers saw someone answer for the harm they had caused. That decision carried a powerful message. Beth explained that while real life does not always deliver justice so clearly, telling stories where victims are believed and offenders face consequences can offer hope to those watching. It was one of the reasons the storyline meant so much to everyone involved in bringing it to life. Despite portraying one of the soap's most controversial characters, Beth speaks warmly about her experience behind the scenes. Far from celebrating the end of filming, she admits her final day was filled with emotion. Saying goodbye to the cast and crew proved far harder than she expected, and she revealed that she cried throughout much of her last day on set. For her, Coronation Street became much more than another acting job. It became a place where she felt welcomed, challenged, and trusted with an incredibly important storyline. That emotional farewell has naturally led fans to wonder whether the goodbye is truly permanent. Interestingly, Beth isn't ruling anything out. Although Megan's prison sentence appears to close the book on her story for now, the actress revealed she would happily return if the opportunity arose. She even suggested there could be room for future prison scenes if the writers ever wanted to revisit the character. That possibility immediately raises new questions. Could Megan's story continue from behind bars? Might another resident be forced to confront her again in the future? Or has justice finally brought an end to one of Weatherfield's darkest chapters? For now, nobody knows. What is certain is that Megan leaves behind lasting consequences. Will's recovery is only beginning, and rebuilding confidence after everything he endured will take time. Although the verdict delivers accountability, it cannot erase the emotional scars left behind. The storyline also serves as a reminder that abuse can take many forms and that manipulation often hides in plain sight. Throughout the drama, viewers watched how easily fear, guilt, and misplaced loyalty can silence victims before they eventually find the courage to speak. As one villain exits the cobbles, Weatherfield continues moving forward, but the impact of Megan's actions will not be forgotten overnight. One character's journey has reached its conclusion. Another chapter for those left behind is only just beginning. And while the courtroom has delivered its final decision, the emotional consequences of everything that happened may continue to echo through Weatherfield for a long time to come. Coronation Street fans speak out on Megan Walsh verdict after soaps hit with complaint. Coronation Street fans have been speaking out about the verdict in the Megan Walsh grooming case after soaps were recently hit with the same complaint. As those who follow the ITV soap know, Megan arrived in Weatherfield after Will Driscoll went missing, before telling his family he didn't want to leave Hull and his athletics training behind, after his dad, Ben Driscoll, surprised partner Eva Price by moving to the cobbles to run the Rovers' return. With the move already completed, it was suggested that Meghan join the Driscolls in Weatherfield. But it was soon revealed to those watching that Will didn't want to leave Hull because he was actually in a secret relationship with Meghan as part of a shocking grooming plot, with the pair going on to sleep together just as he turned 16. Months later, the truth was exposed when Sam Blakeman, who had sussed out what was going on and was being threatened by Meghan into silence, ended up in hospital and eventually confessed what he knew to stepmother Leanne Battersby and her sister, Will's stepmother Eva Price. Meghan, who found out she was pregnant before the truth was exposed, was getting away with her crimes as she and Will stuck to their story, that Will had an out-of-control crush that Meghan had struggled to shut down. Meghan was also claiming to have suffered a miscarriage when she actually had an abortion, meaning there was no firm evidence to link her to Will. However, with the help of his neighbor Tim Metcalfe, Will finally told the police the truth about his and Meghan's relationship, with DS Lisa Connorswain going on to charge Meghan after questioning. But a court case looms after Meghan pleaded not guilty to the crimes against her, and was released on bail ahead of the case going to trial. It was this week that the drama in court played out, where, after Will retracted his original statement and claimed he made up the details of his and Meghan's relationship after being intimidated by her mother, Janine, it appeared like Meghan was going to get off scot-free. But Will went on to take the stand again, confirming Meghan's devastating lies, and during Friday's, July 3rd, edition of Corrie, the teacher accused of grooming and sexually abusing her student, found out her fate. She was found guilty on 2 charges: inciting a child into engaging in sexual activity, and while being in a position of trust, and it was later confirmed she had been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Not taking the new well, Meghan broke down in tears and started lashing out, making it clear as she would appeal the decision as she branded Will a liar. But Corrie fans appeared pleased with the decision as it comes after other villains, including Corrie's Theo Silverton and Emmerdale's Dr. Caitlin Todd, met a deadly end rather than being held to account for the abuse they put there.